Today I have another Gather Round plan and prep video for you. Follow along as we get ready for inventions and ideas. Hey guys, welcome back. In case you're new around here, my name is Sarah. We are currently in our 10th year of homeschooling, and I am teaching 5 kids. They range in age from 2 all the way up to 14. So I have a toddler, a preschooler, an elementary school kid, and then a couple of middle schoolers who are going to be starting high school before I know it. So we have quite the age range of kids around here, which is one of the reasons why we love to use Gather Round. This is actually going to be our 12th unit from Gather Round Homeschool that we have used here in our house, and we haven't done one in a while, and so we're super excited to jump back in. Now, real quick, I do want to say that we do not use Gather Round Homeschool exclusively in our homeschool. We use other curricula too. Now, that's not to say that Gather Round on its own plus math it's not enough for some families or for some kids, because it definitely can be. But for us here in our house, we choose to use Gather Round as somewhat of an extension of our morning time or morning basket. It is a family subject that I use to really connect and put all of my kids together in one place at one time and do school as a group. This is definitely one of the things I absolutely love about Gather Round Homeschool, is that it is super flexible. You can take what you want and leave what you don't. You can make it work for your family. And so we have used Gather Round differently in different seasons of life, and I love that I am learning to be a little bit more confident in that and really make Gather Round work for us for right now. Okay, so in case you are not familiar with this unit from Gather Round, it is from year 2 in the Gather Round units, and it has 20 lessons covering inventions and ideas that changed the world. This unit study is meant to be done every day for 4 to 5 weeks in your homeschool. Now, personally, we tend to stretch this out a little bit, and we use Gather Round units for about 6, sometimes even 7 weeks, depending on how we do it. We really stretch our units out a good bit. Gather Round units can be used with any age child. They have student notebooking pages that start all the way down in the pre-reader level for toddlers and preschoolers and go all the way up through high school. So this makes Gather Round an ideal curriculum for big families like ours. If you are a homeschool mama who has a lot of bases to cover and a lot of ages that you are trying to teach, Gather Round is a really wonderful choice to kind of help you rein in the amount of curriculum that you are having to teach on a daily basis. So to kick off a unit, I head to the Gather Round website and I purchase and download the digital family bundle. Once I receive the email with all of the download links, I get busy printing. I print on 24-pound weight paper that I get from Costco. I tend to print 2-sided in full color. All right, so then binding options. I find that every Gather Round family does this a little bit differently. I will share what works here for us. I bind in 2 different ways. First of all, for my kids' student notebooking pages, I just put those in 3-ring notebooks. I just hole punch them with my heavy-duty hole puncher. I buy them in bulk on Amazon, so we always have a ton of those around. For myself, I do splurge a little bit, and I go ahead and have my teacher guide spiral bound. I take this over to our office supply store. It takes them 5 minutes and costs $5. They put this nice spiral binding on the side. There is a black cover on the back, and then they give me a clear plastic protector here on the front. These are super helpful. I joke on here all the time that I tend to spill coffee a lot, and it's true. I've only used this book for 2 days, and as you can probably see right here, I already spilled coffee on this, but the protector page did really help, so it wasn't as bad of a mess as it could have been. So I really do like getting this done every unit. Now, in case you are curious about what specific levels I am using with my kids for inventions and ideas, I am going to print out the coloring pages from the pre-reader level for my 2-year-old toddler and for my 4-year-old preschooler. I am going to be using the early reader pages with my 8-year-old Mariah, and then I'm going to do the middle school pages with Noah and Leah, my 13 and 14-year-olds. I use Gather Round for different reasons for different kids. For instance, for my middle schoolers, my 13 and 14-year-olds, I really focus on using our Gather Round time as a place for them to practice their note-taking skills. I will read aloud from the teacher guide, and they will take notes in their student notebook, and they will make index cards with vocabulary and kind of practice studying key words that we are learning about as we go through the unit. I will also use Gather Round as a jumping off point for them for their literature assignments. I will use the unit that we are studying and assign them novels to read on their own and to write papers about, but it connects into what we're learning in Gather Round. So this means that I focus less on having them complete all of the student notebooking pages and focus more on them just studying the information and reading books and writing papers about it. Now, for Mariah, my 8-year-old who's in elementary school, we focus on doing a lot more of Gather Round with her. She does the majority of the student notebooking pages because I am really trying to cover science, history, geography, art, all kinds of subjects through Gather Round with her. Now, we do use other language arts curriculum, so that means that I don't tend to make her use those pages in her student notebook. For my toddler and for my preschooler, I am really just using Gather Round as a way to include them in school. They get to literally gather around the table with us during our Gather Round unit time, and they will do coloring pages, or I will create a themed sensory bin that goes along with our unit, different activities and games and toys that go along with what we're learning that they can just sit and kind of use as guided playtime, and it helps to keep them a little bit quieter while we're trying to get things done. All right, so one more quick note. I did want to say on here that on this video, I'm going to talk a lot about books and activities and additional supplies and things that you can use to go along with this unit. Everything I am mentioning today is totally optional. As I said earlier, I do really like to beef up these units and do a lot of extras that fit our family. I have a budget for every unit that we do for Gather Round that I can use to buy additional supplies and things for my kids. But honestly, all of it is just optional. Pick and choose what works for your family. Because I am doing these videos for you all, I try to give you guys a lot of different ideas and inspiration. Sometimes I honestly don't get to all of the things I talk about on here. They're goals and intentions, but a lot of times we don't cover all of it. And so I don't ever want any of these videos to be overwhelming or make you feel like you have to spend a ton of money. This is really just here to encourage you and inspire you and give you ideas of what you could do possibly with your kids. I'm going to be mentioning a ton of resources today. I will be sure to put links for as much as I can down in the description box. Otherwise, you can head over to my Amazon storefront. I have a tab devoted specifically to the unit for inventions and ideas. All right, let's talk about one of my favorite things, books. For every unit that we do from Gather Round, I have a personal goal of having at least one picture book to go along with every lesson that I cover. In addition to that, I always do a family read aloud, and then I also do some chapter books that I assign to my kids. So I really beef up these units with lots and lots and lots of books. Now, if you head over to the Gather Round website and click on their resources page, you can find the suggested reading list to go along with inventions and ideas that has all kinds of books broken down by age level that go along with every single lesson. Obviously, I used a lot of the books on this list, but I also added some of my own titles that I'll share with you here. addition to all of those books, I am also going to do a family read aloud. We tend to cover this at breakfast time. I will read to the kids while they eat and while they clean up the kitchen. So for this unit, we are going to do Frindle. And I chose this book because we read another title by Andrew Clements at Christmas time. We read The Last Holiday Concert, and my 3 older kids just loved it. They thought it was hysterical. So we're gonna try Frindle this time. In addition to this, something else I'm going to do is assign a Who Was book to my middle schoolers, my 13 and 14-year-old. Every single week, I will have them read one of these books and write a written narration or a paper to go along with it about what they learned. So, for instance, I have Who Was Leonardo da Vinci? Who was Albert Einstein? Who were the Wright brothers? I actually have 6 or 7 of these Who Was books down in the basement that go along with inventions and ideas. So by the end of the unit, they will read probably 4 or 5 of these. All right, so let's talk about movies. Since we use Gather Round as a family subject, I am going to make it a goal this unit to do a family movie night every week, to do an invention themed movie to go along with what we're studying. Now, before I share the titles, let me just remind you that I do have a very wide age range of kids. I have toddlers, I have teenagers, and so I'm going to share movies that are family friendly or may just be teenager friendly. As always, just do your homework when you're deciding on what movies you want to show to your own kids. All right, I wrote all these down, so I'm just gonna read them to you. First of all, we're going to do Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Cloudy with a Side of Meatballs, Flubber with Robin Williams, Back to the Future. That one's probably one we're exclusively just gonna watch with my teenagers. And then definitely just for my teenage boy, Iron Man. In addition to this, we will probably add in some invention documentaries. I know there are several on Netflix and Amazon Prime and things like that. So I will probably add those in during our school days as needed. All right, so extra activities. In past plan and prep videos, I have broken these down by age range. So I've given you examples of things I'm going to do with my toddlers, examples of things I'm going to do with my teenagers. Well, for this unit in particular, I struggled with that because there are a lot of these that I am planning on using as a family. There are also a lot of things in here that I'm planning on just using to keep my kids' hands busy while I'm reading from the teacher guide or while I'm reading some of those additional library books. So for today, for this video, what I'm going to do is go through and just show you some of the in general projects and extras that we're going to do that just cover inventions in general. And then I'm going to go through and specifically talk about some of the extras we're going to do with each lesson. So the extras for flying machines, the extras for diving, things like that. All right, so let's just jump in and get started. First of all, I purchased this STEM kit. This is from Amazon. I saw some other Gather Round mamas had purchased this and recommended it, so I thought we would give it a try. It's kind of hard to see what's in here, but for instance, for this one, they're going to build a nightlight. This is a fiber optic lamp. There's a Ferris wheel and a merry-go-round. So just different fun wooden devices that they are going to be putting together and inventing. Next, you guys know that I love to always purchase a puzzle to go along with each unit. So again, this one is from Amazon. It is just a 200-piece puzzle this time, but it has a really neat timeline of different inventors and different inventions. Leah is my puzzle lover in the house, so she will really enjoy putting this together. I also like that because it's a 200-piece, Mariah probably will not be too overwhelmed if I help her with this. Something else I'm planning on making for my kids, again, just to kind of keep them busy while we're reading, is I'm going to put out lots of different building materials. So for instance, contraption blocks or Legos, different things that they can use to build, create, or invent different items as I am reading aloud to them. We in particular love these contraption blocks. These are very well loved. We've had them, oh gosh, for probably over a decade for Noah now. He has built all kinds of things with these. Forts, staircases, castles, I mean, just all kinds of really fun things you can do with just these very simple wooden blocks. Also, just a note, they aren't very heavy, so if you have a toddler or a little child who likes to throw things, these don't damage anything and they don't hurt. They aren't heavy like other wooden blocks. Not that I would know anything about that. Next up are Kiwi crates. Now, this video is not sponsored by them in any way, but I did want to say on Black Friday, I went through and just went ahead and decided to try out their subscription boxes for my kids. We have really enjoyed them. So these will be great to go along with the Inventions unit. Another fun family activity to go along with this unit is Mousetrap. I played this game as a child. It's so fun. It is just full of inventions on how to catch a mouse, and so this will just be kind of a fun extra to do one night. All right, so now I'm going to go through and talk about extra activities that I'm going to pair with specific lessons in the unit. So to start out for the lesson on navigation, I am going to have my little kids, my toddlers, use our Magna blocks because we talk about magnets. And so this will be a great day for them to sit and build with our magnet blocks. That's also going to be a fun day for my older kids to play with their magnet kit. These are just some nice magnets that I've collected over the years, but just again, something fun for them to experiment with and play around when we are talking about navigation. When we cover Inventions on Flight, I did go ahead and splurge and bought the kids this Ultimate Paper Airplane for Kids book. Inside it has all kinds of different instructions on how to make different airplanes. It also provides you with paper to make those airplanes, as well as different targets and things that you can use. Here's a terminal that you can try to land your airplane on. I think my boys in particular are really going to enjoy making airplanes and throwing airplanes. This will just be really fun as we are studying the Wright brothers. Next up for experiments that thrill, again, that kind of goes back to this STEM kit that I have purchased. This will be great. They can do the merry-go-round that day or the Ferris wheel that day to go along with roller coasters and things like that. I'm pretty sure down in the basement we still have a roller coaster connect set and a Ferris wheel connect set, so I may have Noah dig those out and build those on the day for Inventions that thrill. Next up for Inventions that deflect, you're going to go into armor and things like that, and so I am planning on pulling out our Playmobil Knight and Castle set. This is something we have had for years and years. Like I said, a lot of these items that I'm taking out, these are just things that I've had stashed away in the basement for a rainy day. So I'm sure Ezra and Ava are really going to enjoy playing with this. For the lesson on things that illuminate, I will be pulling out our snap. Ooh, that's really crackly sounding, sorry. Snap Circuits Junior. This has 100 different projects in it. There is one in particular where you get to make a light bulb light up. There's also one about a radio in here. So there's a lot of different uses and lessons that we could use snap circuits for. My husband also bought me a record player for Christmas this year. So I am thinking on the day that we are studying the phonograph, we will listen to some records. For the day we are studying Inventions that dive, I feel like that is going to be the perfect opportunity to do some water play. So if the weather cooperates, maybe this means we will go outside and do some squirt guns or some water table play with my little ones. If the weather's not cooperating, maybe we will just get out our aquadoodle and color with water on the table with them, or even put them in the bathtub and let them play with toy submarines. Now, this next one I'm really looking forward to, probably going to be my favorite lesson of the unit, Inventions that clean. I am planning on letting my children really get handy with the vacuum cleaner that day and have them vacuum the entire house. Let all of them take turns vacuuming different rooms. Lesson 10 covers inventions that entertain, in particular Play-Doh. I think that this will be a really good opportunity to have my older kids make Play-Doh with my younger kids, homemade Play-Doh. This is something we've actually never done before in our home. I'm not necessarily always the messy mom, but I think that that will be fun for the older kids to do with the younger kids. For inventions that go, I think this will be a perfect opportunity to get Matchbox cars out and train sets out and let my young ones just build Matchbox and train tracks all around the room while we are reading and working on school that day. Again, I'm sure my older kids will really enjoy getting down on the floor and playing with that as well. This would also be a really great opportunity. I haven't personally purchased this yet, but I think it would be fun to maybe let my older teen son do a model car. Let him build a model, I don't know, Mustang or something like that that he would find interesting, but older kids could do a model car. For inventions that heal, I'm definitely going to get out my kids' little doctor kits and let them play doctor to their stuffed animals and to their baby dolls. Another fun idea would be able to get just a box of Band-Aids out and let them use them like stickers all over paper. And then for inventions that organize, this is another opportunity to let your kids try their hands at some housework. You could give them a junk drawer to organize, a bathroom closet to organize. I don't know, whatever needs organized or, made pretty in your house. Let your kids have a try at it. You never know how well they will do. On that lesson in particular, we're also going to be studying Post-it notes. And so I thought that this would be a fun day to give them a stack of Post-it notes in different colors and let them do some window art. Just put all of the sticky notes up there, maybe make a butterfly or a smiley face, or I don't know, it depends on how old your child is, how detailed they want to get with this. But this would be a really inexpensive activity that could take up a good chunk of time. For the lesson that covers inventions that build, I'm going to let Ezra play with his little toy tool set. This is something I picked up at a garage sale a few weeks ago for just a couple dollars. But it has a little toy hammer and toy, screws and nails and all kinds of fun things that he can try his hand at. If you have older kids, I would definitely encourage you, if you have some actual tools out in your garage, let them try their hand at that. Give them a piece of scrap wood and let them learn how to hammer a nail into wood or to use a screwdriver. Just let them practice those skills. It's definitely something that will serve them well later in life. And then lesson 20 covers inventions that discover. This will be a really great opportunity to get out your microscope or get out your telescope and go outside and look at the stars with your kids. I think that would be a really fun way to end the lesson and end the unit. All right, so then lastly, throughout the entire unit, your kids will be asked to work on creating their own invention. They will brainstorm an idea and go through all the trial and error of creating their own invention. And so I think it would be really fun to kind of provide them with some tools and ideas to kind of help them come up with their own invention. So you could just be as simple as giving them a basket in the middle of your table that is full of popsicle sticks and pipe cleaners, glue, rubber bands, just any type of inexpensive craft supplies that you have lying around that they could use to create a new invention of their own making. All right, guys, well, that wraps things up. I hope that today's video gave you some ideas and some inspiration for some fun projects and things you can do with your kids if you're studying inventions and ideas. If you have not done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel here. I have an entire playlist of plan and prep videos that go along with Gather Round units and just a lot of other videos on here about education, homemaking, and everyday life. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great week. See you later.